Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Okay, it looks like everyone's in now. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Andrea DeCudris. I am the Assistant Director for the Office of Alumni and External Relations. I'm very excited to welcome you all and have the opportunity to introduce our new Bronco Mentoring Network. Here's the agenda for tonight. I will present an overview of our Bronco Mentoring Network, provide you with information on what are the program expectations, portal capabilities, and how to sign up. I'll also cover other volunteer opportunities that we have with the Alumni Association. We will then have our two alumni panelists share with you their experience with mentoring and answer some of the questions that were submitted at the time of registration. If you think of any additional questions during the presentation, please feel free to add them to the chat. We have time allocated at the end to answer those questions, and we'll have someone monitoring the chat. The Bronco Mentoring Network was launched on April 9th with the goal of providing a virtual platform for students and alumni to connect. With the pandemic shutdowns in March, we knew it was extremely important to find a way for our alumni to continue engaging and sharing their wisdom with students. We know that mentoring can be a transformative experience for both mentor and mentee. I wanted to start out with a visual that shows some of the reasons that alumni have chosen to mentor. Giving back time, practicing leadership skills, positively impacting someone's life, improving communication skills, learning new perspectives, and having that rewarding feeling when you help others. From a student perspective, students need mentors to help them with some of these things. Networking, landing their first job, learning about industries, finding out about company culture, interviewing best practices, resume review, graduate school, and more. So now that we know why mentoring is important, let's take a look at our current mentoring community consists of. As I mentioned, we launched on April 9, 2020, and we currently have 1,080 members on the site. You can see a breakdown by member type with a total of 709 alumni and 323 students on the portal. To note, we started with alumni recruitment first so that students joining the site would be able to find a mentor. We also have 291 individuals that are members of communities. I will talk more about communities in a few minutes. Here's a breakdown by college. To date, most of our members are from the College of Business, Engineering, and College of Letters, Arts, and Social Sciences. So what is expected of alumni mentors? Mentors must have a willingness to invest time and energy into a mentoring relationship, a belief that mentoring is a mutually enhancing professional activity, confidence in their own abilities, and a desire to pass that information along to their mentee. Building a mentoring relationship is very personalized and requires both mentor and mentee to set goals and boundaries. During the first meeting, we recommend setting parameters about the frequency, duration, and mode of communication preferred between mentor and mentee. Also, responding consistently and within a reasonable time frame in order to ensure open lines of communication is essential for any mentoring relationship. So if you're feeling like you're ready to become a mentor, I'm now going to show you how to do that. You can sign up to be a mentor by visiting the Bronco Mentoring Network website. We will place the URL in the chat for easy sign up. On this page, you're able to sign up using an email address or by connecting your LinkedIn account. For the first step, you'll enter your biodemographical information and a tagline. The tagline should be something tied to your goals with the platform, as well as a description of your expertise. You will then enter your member type. Alumni are broken out into recent graduate, which is anyone that has graduated within the last 10 years, and general alumni. You will also enter your grad year and major. There will then be a section to select your goals on the portal. Some of the choices are mentoring a recent graduate, mentoring a current student, participating in an informational interview, speaking on an alumni panel, You'll also enter your current information, employment information, and industry information here. Once you've entered all of your information, you will get a welcome email that will ask you to verify your account. Please verify your account. Once you log back in, you'll see your personalized dashboard. The personalized dashboard will provide you with suggested next steps. This section will take the answers you submitted during sign up and show you recommendations based on those submissions. It will also recommend members to connect with based on your goals, careers, and interests. At the top of the screen, there's a member search tab. Here you can search for members based on major, title, location, member type, and you can also filter by industry and expertise. From this screen, you can easily view a member's profile or send them a quick message. The portal has a message function that allows you to send a message. Notification emails are sent to recipients whenever a message is sent out. If you don't want to log into the portal to reply, you can simply reply through your email. The message will then be delivered through the portal. The portal also has a chat widget that assists members with drafting messages. This is especially helpful for students that are nervous to reach out to alumni and don't know how to form a professional message. The portal also has a video call feature. Users can send an invite with suggested times to schedule a video call. This allows for easy scheduling between mentee and mentor and makes it easy so you don't have to utilize your phones or Zoom. It also keeps your personal email and phone number confidential as you will be communicating through the portal. In addition to traditional one-on-one mentoring, our portal also has communities. Communities are meant to boost student and alumni engagement virtually. Alumni volunteers and key campus partners can assist with facilitation. Students can pose general questions and ask for advice in a group setting. Here are some of the communities that we currently have set up. Within the communities, users can view relevant events and discussions. Students are able to pose questions to get answers from alumni group members. We also have an event section where you can check out upcoming opportunities that you may be interested in based on your group. So that was an overview of the Bronco Mentoring Network. I know it was a lot of information, but please remember the links were placed in the chat for more information. Also, if you have any questions, please feel free to place those in the chat and we will answer those at the end of the workshops. Before I introduce our panelists, I wanted to briefly introduce some of our other programs that we offer. Professor for a Day will take place from March 8th through 12th this year, and it's the first year we'll run this program virtually. Alumni are invited to visit a class and talk about their college to career transition and also talk about their current employer or position. Registration closes for alumni this Friday, February 19th. So if you're interested, please check out the link in the chat. Dining with Broncos. With the pandemic, we're not able to do this program this year, but I wanted you all to be aware that it exists. Normally, we ask alumni to host students for dinner at a restaurant or in their homes, and it is an opportunity for students to ask career-related advice. Students and alumni are matched based on major and career goals. Our alumni chapters. We currently have 7 special interest and college-based chapters that each have governing boards and are always looking for volunteers to help with events or to serve on boards. If you're interested in learning more, please contact alumni@cpp.edu or visit our website. Lastly, if you're interested in being contacted for future opportunities to be an alumni panelist, assist with phone calls for prospective students, serve on a committee, etc., you can fill out our volunteer form and we can contact you for those opportunities. The link again is posted in the chat. I would like to now introduce you to 2 wonderful alumni mentors, Natalie Brusuela McLean and Dean Bui. Natalie Brusuela McLean manages contracts for solar systems, space physics, and civil programs at NASA's federally funded Research and Development Center, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. In addition to contracts, her work focuses on building better team environments via change management, knowledge transfer, and process improvement efforts. Outside of work, she is the current president of the Cal Poly Pomona College of Business Administration Alumni Chapter, where she seeks to help students prepare for life after college. She enjoys spending her free time going to concerts and music festivals with her 9-year-old daughter and husband of 14 years. Dean Bui has been in the banking industry for over 20 years, specializing in product development, marketing, pricing, and risk management. Dean is on the Cal Poly Pomona Alumni Association Board of Directors and is an active volunteer for the Alumni Association through programs such as Professor for a Day and mentoring. Dean also served as adjunct professor in the marketing department for 2 quarters, bringing his work experience to the classroom. He has served as a formal and informal mentor to his coworkers and students in the LAUSD and owes his career to his amazing mentor, who he loves and misses dearly. I'm now going to turn the event over to Melissa Reardon, Executive Director for Alumni and External Relations, who will be moderating the discussion for the panel.
Hi, thank you, Andrea. So for the next section of this event, I'm going to be asking our panel to answer some of our questions that have been submitted by all of you. So hopefully when you registered, you were able to enter a question, a burning question that you might have. And actually, I think I'm going to start with Natalie. Natalie, can you tell us about your experience with mentoring? And specifically, did someone ever mentor you?
Yes, so actually, I am a first generation college student who had no idea how to even go about college other than my parents saying, you need to go. So I had to figure it out. And I was fortunate to have a couple mentors. My first boss right out of high school, she told me
I think we might be frozen.
I think it's Natalie that's frozen.
Okay.
Maybe Dean could answer the question.
Yeah, let's do that. Sorry, I wasn't sure if it was my computer. Dean, I'm going to go ahead and ask you the same question. Can you tell us about your experience with mentoring? And specifically, can you talk a little bit about someone who mentored you?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here with all of you tonight. And I hope to share some of my experience and inspire you to be a mentor. I've been very fortunate and blessed. So for the 21 years of my banking professional, I had a mentor for the 15 years of those 21 years. And the reason I said in my intro that I miss and love her very much is that I owe everything I have professionally, who I am today, to my mentor. Similar to Natalie, I am first generation immigrant, first generation in my family to go to college and to also to work at corporate America. So I was clueless on beginning this career path. And my mentor was also my first manager. Her name was Wendy Copley. And she took me under her wings and taught me the rope of the business, how to be a professional, how to set career goals. But more importantly, she opened doors for me, meaning she introduced me to her contacts. When I want to learn something new and different in an organization, she made the introductions for me. She helped me achieve my career goals, but was always there to help kind of the guardrails so that I don't go off the cliff, but really encouraged me to pursue my dream. And again, taught me everything I need to know about the business and encouraged me to go beyond my comfort zone. And so I've been very fortunate with that. And the reason why that I'm passionate about giving back is because I owe that to my mentor. And I know how important it is to have a mentor to be there for you and guide you along the way.
Thank you, Dean. It looks like Natalie is back. Natalie, do you want to go ahead and finish your answer in regard to your experience with mentoring and if someone mentored you and what that might have been like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did have my first boss, and then after even coming to JPL, they had a mentorship program where you can select anything you wanted to be for your mentor. You set your goals. And for me, I came from a small company in the food and beverage industry, and there was not a lot of bureaucracy or red tape. So it was very strategic with my mentor, and I'm like, look, I know office politics are alive and real, and I know that I have to deal with them. Help me navigate them. because I like to be a little bit of a mover and a shaker. Help me do that without pissing people off, you know? So be very strategic about your goals, and it's been helpful because the mentors actually, they challenge you and they help you grow. And if you have a really good relationship, it's mutually beneficial both ways. So that's just been my experience with mentoring and being a mentee.
Thank you, Natalie. Dean, the next question is for you. To you, in your words, what does it mean to be a mentor? And what are the main things that you talk about with a mentee?
To be a mentor is to care. And what I mean by that is you really have a vested interest in your mentee's success. And it is your responsibility to be available and do everything you can to help your mentee. Because they come to you for help, for guidance, and you really have to be truly sincere about that. So that's to me, so to me, that's caring and showing you are invested in someone else's success, and also for me is to pay back for the benefits I receive, but also to pay forward to the next generation of leaders that we are entrusted to help develop and groom. Which is why every member on my team that I hired, I trained them to one day succeed me. And I teach them the ropes of how to be in a leadership position, how to lead within an organization, how to manage themselves, their brand and their image. To Natalie's point, when I navigate the office politics, it is all in the spirit of grooming the next leader within the organization. Or for my team will be someone who one day would succeed me. And so to me, that's about, that's mentorship, is teaching, developing, and paying back and paying forward.
Thank you. Natalie, this is a little bit of a follow-up question to that. Can you talk a little bit about the kinds of questions that mentees have asked you in the past, or what kind of questions our potential mentors might receive?
So one of the questions I get a lot from students, especially like first college generation students, Latina, Latinx students, is how did you navigate to where you are now? What are the challenges that you face? How do you navigate them? So that's a big question that I get from them. Another is real talk, what is life after college, right? A lot of them I find are actually they're intimidated to speak to older alumni because, like you guys are all on this pedestal of like, you've already made it, right? And there's this fear of reaching out, even though a lot of you want to give back and, let me help you get there. So it's really just encouraging them to reach out and not be scared, because the people who are within this network are trying to be there for them. And so so a lot of times they'll ask, how do I connect with an alumni? I see someone on LinkedIn and they go to Cal Poly and like they're the director of this company. Like how can I connect with them without coming off, insecure or whatever? So with part of the alumni board, the CBA alumni board, we host the LinkedIn 2.0 event where we'll even teach students, how to message the common questions that we get. And so those are kinds of things that we receive from the students frequently. And also they just really want to know, real talk, what were your struggles as you try to go through your career development? They do like that real talk. So those are the things that I've experienced.
Can I also add to that too, in addition to that, the two other questions I tend to get a lot is, how do I set my career goals? And every time I set my career goal, just like I planned a road trip. I have my checkpoint, I know where I want to be, and then find out what I need to do to get to this checkpoint. And so that's how I plan my career. And I put in perspective that it makes sense to them. It's you planning a road trip from here to San Francisco. right? So envision you plan your career journey that way, and then find out the experience, expertise you need to gain. And then secondly, they also asked me what I like and dislike about my career path, which is a very insightful question. Right, not every job is nice and rosy. We have our good days and bad days. And I try to put it in a way that I encourage them to find a career that they are passionate about. I look beyond the title and the money, but find satisfaction in the job, the fulfillment that makes them as a person, right, more fulfilled. And that's also something that I get asked a lot, even from within my own team, and also those who are just graduated.
So Dean, following up to that, what are some good topics or questions that you can ask your mentee to help build that relationship and to find out how to best meet their needs?
I always begin so it is a relationship. And so I ask them about one, what do they want to get from this relationship? And then from there, will help me guide the conversation and also be prepared to assist them. And I ask them about their career goals and aspirations. And that leads me into, as a mentor, you want to provide the guardrails for your mentee, to make sure they follow the path that they want to follow. But at the same time, you don't want to be holding their hands either. Make sure that they have that focus on the right direction, but also have the freedom and flexibility to be their own individual and pursue their dreams. It's also important so that as a mentor, if you come across opportunities or connections that your mentee may benefit from, you make the introduction. I have the tendency to send my team, for example, to meet with my peers in the company or in the business industry that may be of interest or benefit to my mentees, and say, introduce them and get them to get together, grab a coffee. So open the door and make a connection. And also when it comes down to the goals and aspiration is that when it comes to when I come across job opportunities, I'd be in a better position to help prepare them for making the introduction, preparing their resume, having mock interviews, or even if someone I know who's a hiring manager, place a call on their behalf. And I think that's, as a mentor, that's the role that I take very seriously, to really help the mentee get his foot in the door and have a good chance of getting a job or being successful.
Thank you. Natalie, what is the time commitment to be a good mentor? And this is a question we get as staff, so I'd like to really hear from you, talk a little bit about that. And also, if you could talk a little bit about, because you've been a mentor, how long these relationships tend to last, and if you're in touch with any of your mentees to date.
So I think the time commitment really varies on the goals and how many people you are mentoring. Specifically for me, because I am the part of the alumni board, I do get a lot of students that reach out to me right after events, and they'll ask me to please review their resume. Can you critique it? And that can take like an hour of your time, and then you help them on their way, give them some constructive feedback. If they are I was part of the Cal Poly SLCP club, and so I really put into a lot of those students now. And so I might get those, and I actually have had 4 years worth of students reach out to me, and can you get me this connection? Like, you went to GW, can you connect me? Because I have a contract program and I'm still interested in contracts. So I help with that. And it might be a short time commitment where you just make that connection, you give them the feedback. You might, for me anyway, like I get a lot of requests to review their graduate admissions packets and things of that nature, which I do contracts, so editing is like my workflow. And it doesn't seem very much up front, but on the back end, I might follow up, or I might hear from them, and they might, reach out and say, hey, thanks for reviewing that. Like, I got accepted, or I landed the job. And to me, it's not a crazy time commitment, but I feel like those are more informal you know, informal mentorships. So you have the more formal where you can actually tag up every couple weeks or once a month to see what they're doing. It's really up to you and what you're comfortable with. And if you're just getting into mentoring for the first time and you don't really know what you want to commit to, or if you like it or whatever, maybe look into an informal thing of where you might want to just critique their resumes as if you're a hiring manager and go through a mock interview process with them. It's invaluable to them, and it is really what you want to put into it.
If I could add to that, for me, the formal mentees I have, we have it on a calendar to check in every month. And so for 1 hour, we connect and we talked about anything that they want to talk about. We also mentored, I also mentored junior high students in the LA school district. They would come to our office in LA, and we spent 2 hours every Thursday with them to help them work on projects to develop their career path and all of that. So that's a lot more time consuming for the younger kids. For me and my mentor, when she was still alive, we had this deal that every 3 months we would get together for dinner. And so I was in Pasadena, she was in LA, and we would take turn driving. But that was our way of checking in. Is every 3 months we have to we saw each other face to face. We download on what's going on, and she would help me prepare for my next career journey, my journey map. But that was our commitment to each other. It doesn't have to be like that, but for me, it was a minimum 1 hour a month that we block the time and reconnect.
For formal, definitely to block that out. With my formal mentor, we also do 1 hour a month, and again, just to tag up and see what's going on. So.
Yeah.
So the next question is actually for both of you. And Natalie, if you could kind of talk a little bit more about this topic. Any tips on how to maintain your mentorship relationship with your mentee? Anything creative or just different that you can impart some wisdom on?
So to me, I think a mentorship, really, you kind of have to click with your mentee. You have to have some common ground and values and be able to have a mutually beneficial relationship there. And so my experiences with them, if they're passionate about contracts, we might just tag up about that and like, hey, are you going to, this conference, it's a national conference, and we might just tag up in that regard to keep it fresh. But I don't have any like super great tricks that way, because I feel like your mentorship kit fizzle out, and it is what you put into it or what their goals are to begin with. So there's not a magic potion, in my opinion. But definitely, I will definitely defer to Dean because he has more experience in the formal one.
Oh, thank you for that. For me, I set expectation up front with the mentee that I am here to support them. So it's up to them to leverage me as much as they want to get from me, as much as I have to give. And in that sense, I have had good relationships with the mentees. Those who really want to get something from the relationship, to your point, Natalie, and really ask me a lot of tough questions because they really want the help to plan their career and be successful. And for me, that relationship is when I come across anything that I find may be beneficial to them, I would send them their way. It could be an article, it could be an interesting job posting that I think they will be a good fit, or something they want to consider, maybe not for today, but at least they know for the next career move that they make. Right? These are the requirements, right, that they need to have. And so that's part of the grooming and developing that we put into this relationship. And most of my relationship lasts for years. Even the one that I mentor and now have gone off and run their own team and be successful elsewhere, we still maintain that relationship. We still check in. We still send each other information that we might find interesting. And I find that to be very beneficial and very fulfilling, because it is a relationship, and for the good ones, you want it to last for a lifetime. And I was very fortunate to have a relationship with my mentor that lasts truly a lifetime until she passed away. And so I want to carry on that legacy and continue to give back. And so back to what I said earlier, is to be a mentor is to care and to really want to invest in your mentee. And it doesn't end after the mentoring program ends. Right? It will always continue as long as you both make the effort to check in and get involved and wanting to connect and help each other.
So Dean, in what ways did becoming a mentor help you grow?
Oh my goodness, so much. A good example would be helping me become a better leader. Because when we talk to the mentees, they're the next generation that coming to the workforce, that will be working with us, that we'll be bringing them along. And they come from a different perspective, a younger generation. They have different perspective in their goals and what they want to do with their life. And so as a leader, and you have someone like that on your team, it helps you understand their point of view. And so they also helped me to be a good listener because of that. And secondly, it gives me this opportunity to just learn from them. Meaning they are so advanced, for example, in technology and social media. I'm old school. I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook, I don't have anything like that. But through them, I learned to see our society and the business through their eyes in terms of technology. And for my business, that's important. So they help me see from their perspective as a consumer, what the consumers need from a service provider. And so for me, selfishly, I learn my end customer by interacting with them. And so they also bring a lot to the table as well, is providing that insight for the next generation of leaders and also the next target customers for the business I am in. So I benefit a lot from that relationship.
Thanks. Natalie, I'm going to ask you the same question because you've had some good experience as being a mentor. In what ways did becoming a mentor help you grow?
I would say that it really challenged me to exert myself further than I thought I was ready for. We live in a time where the job market is crazy. I went through the last recession where right out of college, we weren't getting jobs and the market was just impacted. And so although I feel, okay, I'm ready for this leadership role, you have to wait for people to move on, and I'm a person who likes to be a loyal employee and work at that company, right? And so they really forced me to kind of exert myself and develop more leadership skills because they're looking to help, for me to help them. I'm like, oh yeah, I've experienced this. I can shed that light to them and give them that input. But also it helps me really grow and develop my networking opportunities, even within the board and just the people that I've been able to meet. It's in the back of my head, all these people, all these mentees, like, oh, well, she said that she was looking for a job here. And this, alumni is looking to hire somebody. And it's just me wanting to connect the students with the alumni. And that's helped me grow in a way because I'm putting myself out there kind of as a way to bridge that gap. Because if there's even a remote level of insecurity for me to connect with an alumni, it's 1,000-fold for the student. So it's challenged me to come out of my insecurity level and just throw it out there. So that's been my experience.
Thank you. I have one more question, and what I'd like to do now is to also ask everyone on the Zoom, if you do have any questions, you can either put them in the chat, or after we do this final question, we just unmute yourself and raise your hand, and we can try to get those other questions that haven't been covered in this presentation answered for you. So my final question is for Dean. Anything else you would like to share with a group of future mentors as they embark on the journey of mentoring our students here at CPP? Any last words of advice?
Yes, start with having a servant heart. What I mean by that is you truly want to be there and help invest in your mentee's future. And what I mean by that too is it's not about you, it is about them, it is for them. And so, this is a commitment, and they are looking to you. So commit your time and your energy, and also your contacts to help them. And I emphasize that because I also come across a situation where the conversation was more about the mentor talking about him or herself, and there's no any interest or investment in the mentee, and that's the wrong approach. And so I encourage you to take this as someone is counting on you to help them reach their career potential. Someone like me, first generation immigrant, first generation to start a career in corporate America, who didn't know anything. So we're looking to someone like you as a mentor to really help us get a foot in the door and have a good foundation to stand on.
Thank you. Natalie, any last bit of advice you'd like to share?
Not necessarily advice. I'd just like to encourage you guys, if you're even just on the board of, teetering on it, try it. It's so rewarding. You may think, like you're busy professionals and I just finished a full day and I don't have the mental capacity to volunteer or do something. There have been many times where, after a busy day, we have an event, but then after the event, talking to the students, being able to get their feedback, their questions, is just so uplifting, and it makes you feel good about doing it. So if you're looking for some feel good moments, definitely volunteer. You get so much out of it. Even though you're pouring into them, you get just as much back from the experience. Just to be able to be those shoulders that they can stand on, because I know for me, I would not be where I am today if it were not for the mentors that have helped me get here. So that's all I'd like to do. And then if you want to volunteer on the board, hit us up. We're always looking for board members in the College of Business Administration. Thank you.
Well, I don't have any more questions for the panel, but at this time I'd like to open up for questions. If you have a question, you can either, again, utilize the chat or take yourself off of mute and go ahead and let us know if you have a question. Okay, here's a question in the chat. Oh, I'm sorry, Ruba, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead, and then I'll hit the chat. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. It was great to hear from you today. Such great experiences, and I was always interested to know what it means and how it goes, and the time it takes. I wanted to save my question for last, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So, have there been days when you felt that you haven't met your mentees' needs at some point? Is it always positive, or are there those moments when there's some disappointment or disagreements? And if so, what's your advice to dealing with that? How did you deal with it?
I'm gonna let Dean take that because he does the
No, that's expected, I guess.
I have. I mean, I'll be honest and say that I can't count on one hand the number of times that I let my mentees down. And I remember that vividly because it still bothers me. And oftentimes, the reason for that is I get distracted for our monthly check-in. Instead of being totally present, I let the distraction get in the way. And I realized I did that when we talked, and then I was not listening, and I wasn't answering the question that she was looking for. And in particular, since COVID, for the last 12 months, we've been remote. That it becomes even a bigger challenge for us is to block out the distractions and still maintain the monthly check-in and be very focused. And so I apologize, and I attempt to make up for that, and we reschedule another follow-up. But that's again, I felt very terrible. The fact I still remember this conversations.
I'm sorry.
It still haunts me. It still haunts me. But unfortunately, I have let them down because I was distracted.
My apologies to have reminded you of that, but it's just I was always interested to know what happens, and like it's not always positive. That's expected. We're humans, and just how to deal with it. Yeah.
And also, it speaks to the relationship where mentee was comfortable enough and say, "Hey, Dean, I noticed you were not really there for me. I asked you a question about A and you answered B, or you give me a half complete answer." And so it goes to our relationship that we have developed over the year, that she was comfortable in calling me out, and which is and I appreciate that. I mean, I learned from that as well, and so I'd be more conscious about that going forward when we meet on Zoom. That I need to block everything out and make this time for her like I committed to.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. There is a question in the chat, and it's a really good one, actually. Building off of what both Dean and Natalie said, when the mentee reaches out to you, is it usually a difficult conversation to find grounding in? So that first initial conversation, what's that like?
It's a little awkward, but only because, the mentee is the one usually reaching out in that sense. And it's awkward just because you can tell that it took a lot of courage for them to even reach out, right? And so the awkward part is like, okay, I'm going to make them feel comfortable because they took the first step. And after that, like they might, throw something in that, oh, I saw you speak at this event and I like what you had to say, want to learn more about this or your journey. And then after, it's a very casual back and forth conversation. So it's awkward in the sense that you can feel their level of insecurity. And that's pretty much the difficult part of it. But once you're able to like identify that, you're able to push forward and make them comfortable, and then it flows pretty freely after that in my experience.
Thank you. Dean, would you like to add anything to that?
Just along the line that I put myself in their shoes by taking the initiative of reaching out. And so I asked them, I said, I am more than happy to be a resource for you. Give me an idea on what you're looking for, where I could be of help. If you look at my InfoLink profile, is there anything of interest to you that you want to know more about my job, my career path? So that put them at ease, and because I was in their shoes, and I'm still in their shoes within my career. So I want to put them at ease and put myself in their shoes and make them comfortable, and make sure I'm approachable, and be open to provide them my perspective.
Thank you.
And sometimes you have to be honest and say, I would love to help you, but what you're looking for, I don't have it. And that also happened too. You know, I'm a marketer, I'm a banker. You ask me about something else that has to do with what Natalie's doing, I will introduce you to Natalie. So let's be
You're
honest
always
too.
I got just the person for you.
Exactly.
It goes back to sharing those contacts, right? No, so
Yeah.
important. I love that.
Exactly.
Before I hand it back to Andrea to close, are there any other questions, or let me see if there's anything I missed in the chat? All right, Andrea.
Okay, so I just wanted to thank you all again for attending. Thank you, Natalie and Dean, for being our panelists. You guys gave some great advice and you always are there to help us out. So thank you so much. As a reminder, we did put all the links in the chat, but we will follow up with a message to anyone who registered with a recording of the video, as well as those links again so that you have them handy. And then if you're interested in Professor for a Day, again, reminder that alumni registrations are due this Friday, February 19th. Please continue to check our alumni events page on our website. We frequently update workshops. Our chapters and the Alumni Association overall constantly has events there. So please keep an eye on that. Thank you, Melissa, for moderating our discussion, and I hope you all have a good night, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.